Another day of grace, another day of God's grace upon His children. We thank God for His mercies. We cannot believe what we witnessed this last Sunday. We saw God, we saw His love, we saw His mercies, and you remember previously the week gone by, I spoke to the children of God about the service that we are going to have, and we had an awesome outdoor service. Initially, we thought we were going to have a drive-through service, but instead we have a wonderful garden, open air kind of a service where we worshipped, social distancing and everything else was observed. Oh, big up to Mana Tabernacle of Witness. Let me take this time before I go ahead of myself to thank our general overseer, Pastor Strike, and Pastor Joylene, our senior pastor, for yet another opportunity to come to your screens, to come to your homes, to your dining, sitting, kitchen, wherever you are, listening us from, or where you are catching us from, to come to your homes, to encourage one to another, with things that we think that as people, as children of God, we need, to cope. We need as children of God, not only to survive, but to be able to get by. And today, family, I have, wanted to to reflect on something that caught my attention as the president of our country, President Cyril Ramaphosa. The other time before the president could announce that as a country we were moving to alert level 1. There were people who were singing. There was a song that was going about. I think it's in Wanguni language. People were saying, Mr. President, level 1, Mr. President, level 1. And, level 1 was granted. And it just reminded me of this one thing that, asking, we do ask, but sometimes we ask amiss. Because one would have imagined that, after 6 months of being in the lockdown, and after almost 9 months to 10 months of living with the pandemic, with the coronavirus, you would imagine that our request would have been to God that He should bring this thing to an end. The torment that the coronavirus has put us under has been so much, and we should be praying and should be asking that God should take away this drink from us. But we kind of have come to accept that this thing is with us, and we have welcomed it to our homes, to our community, to our society, and we're not necessarily asking for God to take it away. We're not asking that enough is enough. We don't want this coronavirus, this pandemic away from our lives, so that we have our new norm, back our lives. But we're just asking for level 1, whatever it is. Granted, we have level 1, but we still have the virus. And this brings to the fore what I have actually purposed to highlight today. That yes, as a country, we are at alert level 1, but the virus is not at that level. The virus is not at alert level 1. It's still causing damage to to our lives, to our economy, to our families. We still live, our loved ones are still being infected. Our loved ones are still losing their lives. And, this goes on to say that we don't necessarily need, alert level 1, but what we need is this cup of coronavirus to be taken away from us, to be removed totally, from our communities. But while we still have it in our communities, we still have a responsibility as a community to behave ourselves responsibly, to still adhere to all the protocols that, our government have put in place. Social distancing still have to be maintained. We still have to wash our hands with soap. We still have to sanitize. We still have to, when we cough, we still have to do the elbow, we still have to cough on the elbow. We still do not have to do the handshake. We still do not have to touch. And this bring to the fore what I saw the other day. These people were in a kind of a marriage anniversary of some sort, and there comes that part where they had to kiss, and as a symbol of love and all of that. And the question was, do we go ahead and kiss? And one was saying, but in as much as we wanted to kiss, the president would not approve. And I think as long as our thinking is along those lines, that we're not doing this, we're not doing this because of the president, we are still missing it a little bit, because we are doing most of these things that we're doing, not because Mr. President have said so, not because the president of WHO has said this, because we're doing this because we understand what is before us. We know that we have a virus that is spread in this kind and this way and this form, and we're not doing anybody, we're not doing Mr. President or any president of any country or organization any favor. But what we are doing, we are saving ourselves, we are saving our lives, we are saving, our families from trauma, from stressors that would emanate from us being infected. And family, having said all of these things, what today I have wanted us to, maybe, re-emphasize as a way of saying that, irrespective of where we are as a country, irrespective of, all the achievement that we are registering as a country, the recoveries of this country, it's South Africa, it's beyond any imagination. We previously were around 89, and now I understand that we are, over 90% in terms of our recoveries. There's no amount of intelligence that can explain what has happened to us. But what I believe has happened is that as a country, and we should thank our leaders for the bold steps and decisions that they have taken. Though they were criticized, though they were, chopped, in many ways and forms for such decisions, but, there were, tough decisions were taken, and these decisions have ensured that, traveling were banned, tourism suffered tremendously, but in the process, lives were saved. And where I am sitting today, I just wanted to say to ourselves, say to us that, the storm is not over. Yes, the Lord have been too good to us, have been faithful to us, as a country, as people, as communities, we are crossing over to the other side. But we should cross to the other side, being conscious, being alert of the dangers that still surround us. What are these dangers? That the virus is not dead. Yes, it will soon be over. That's what we want. That's what we believe God for. But as for now, it's still with us. It's still within, our ranks, within our communities. And if we sleep, if we slumber, the virus is going to take advantage of us. And having said what I've just said now, to say if we sleep, if we slumber, the virus is going to take advantage of that. Do you know one thing that is called ignorance? Ignorance is one factor that we should not allow ourselves to be victim of. Because of ignorance, we do things that we shouldn't do. Because of ignorance, we behave irresponsibly. Because of ignorance, we allow things that was not supposed to conquer us, to have power over us. We were talking with colleagues and friends, and they, people were telling me, and it's widely reported that in rural communities, people do not wear masks, because there's this belief that, people are still believing that the virus is not there in their communities. And I said to myself, it is this kind of ignorance, is this kind of belief and behavior that will get us, into trouble. Is this kind of thinking, is this kind of, of perceptions that would actually, take back all the gains that we have achieved as a country. Because as we begin to behave irresponsibly, as we begin to act as if we do not know, we give power where there was no power. We give the virus power to have authority over us, to come over us, to come over our elderly, our children, our families. And before we know it, we will be like other countries where, they have progressed successfully up to level 1, but because of behaving irresponsibly, because of, taking away the measures that have prevented the spread and of the virus, quite too soon, they find themselves, in trouble and having to, to go back, having to, to reintroduce the measures that, the restrictions that are tougher and restrict the movement, so that at the end they bring back, the infection levels down. And, I was talking to a colleague who was in the process, in the line of duty, got the virus. And the interesting part is that, unlike most of us who caught the virus or who were attacked by the virus very early, in the year. For instance, some of us, personally, I was attacked by the virus in April, and May, June, July, August has passed, and this very September, beginning of September, I know of people who got infected. The entire household, the entire family, father, mother, children, all infected with the virus. And people are being infected by the virus at a time when, everybody is relaxed. Everybody is thinking that, the storm is over. We have crossed and we are safely on the other side. And maybe, my emphasis today is to say, like I think I indicated when I started that, as people, we have been asking, possibly, asking amiss. We're asking for a level 1. We did not ask for the virus to be taken away. We're asking for level 1. We were not saying, 7-8 months of being under, under this attack of this virus is enough. Enough of this virus. God, take it away. But we're saying all we need is level 1. But yes, we have level 1, but the virus is still with us. So my message, which I think should not be confused, it should be loud and clear, is to say, people, yes, we are at, alert level 1, but the virus isn't. We may be relaxing, and the virus is not relaxing. We may be, taking less precautions, but the virus is no respecter of person. It will, we know that, long distance, taxis, transportation, they are now loading 100%. And this is to say, we are going to be sitting very closely to one another. People that are flying are going to be sitting very closely to each other. What does this mean? This actually means that, if we are not careful enough and we do not take precautions enough, we still gonna experience high infection rate. As a country, we're able to achieve what we have achieved, able to register what we have registered, because we became very conscious in our actions. We became very, active in decision making in terms of what we wanted to do. As individuals, as families, we were not accepting visitors. We were not, visiting other people. We were not, going into crowded places. Because we know when you go into such places, chances are you continue to touch an object that has been touched by, 4 or 5 other hands. You will continue to, to be in places that could be infected. I have seen in shopping malls that although sanitizers are there by the entrance of malls and supermarkets, and we still have people who ignore these sanitizers, and more particular now that they are put on the side, not straight where, unlike before where you had officers or people that were assigned to do this thing, to administer these things. With the change in terms of the alert levels, people, it's taken for granted that people are now aware that they need to sanitize, they need to check their temperatures, they need to do this and that. And people are supposed to do these things by themselves, for themselves. But guess what? As people, we are, just getting in. We don't sanitize. The first thing when we get into shopping malls and we grab the shopping basket, we sometimes push the trolleys, sometimes without even wiping them, sometimes without even sanitizing them, sometimes without even sanitizing our own hands, which is basically for our own safety. And these things, when I observe them, they scare me, and I'm sure they should scare you as well. And as for me, who has been there, for me, who knows what this pandemic, this virus is capable of doing, and having observed colleagues, having observed communities that were under distress because of of this virus, I just get scared, the other day, my partner, my wife, came back from work, and she was annoyed. She was angry. She was saying, what? People do not understand. Yes, it's been a while that we haven't seen each other. We haven't been together at work as colleagues. But, this thing of us, touching, people were even going to an extent of hugging, one another's, touching each other, scratching, and all of that out of excitement. I think that our excitement should not lead us to behave irresponsibly. Our excitement, should not make us victims of things that we know. I think it would be so unfair, uncalled for, if as a country, as a people, we were to be reintroduced to lockdowns, were to be reintroduced to higher alert levels like 2, 3, 4, or even 5, because the infections would have, picked up because of our irresponsible behaviors. Church of God, people of God, brothers and sisters, forewarned is forearmed. For me, I feel that as a people, now that, so many things have been relaxed, we as people should become very vigilant. We should actually, we should be our brothers and sisters' keeper. Where you see a person walking past a sanitization station, ignoring it, passing it, not doing anything, you should be saying, oh, you have passed that point. That's where you should sanitize. We shouldn't think that, it's up to them, because let the truth be told, that if the person did not sanitize and goes, into a shop and begin to touch other things that ultimately they don't even ultimately buy, if 4, 5, 10 people do the same, pick this thing and return it, pick this thing and return it, and when you ultimately, do the same and touch it, you might find that, you are taking the virus with you. Sometimes after touching it, you feel the urge, to scratch your eye because you of a particular irritation. And unknowingly, you are infected, and unknowingly you are affecting other people. So my message today is to say, yes, as a country, we are at, alert level 1. But the virus doesn't know that. The virus doesn't work according to, the alert levels that are decided upon by governments, by organizations, by authorities. The virus doesn't know that. And as people, we should continue to, to behave ourselves responsibly. Those that are still a higher risk because of their age, because of the sicknesses and diseases that they are they are suffering from, should still refrain from being in those overcrowded places and risk of being infected. They should not risk themselves, their lives, by being in those places where they shouldn't. And with this few words, family, today I just felt that, I needed to remind us that, the storm is not over. We are on the other side, but, as Pastor Mkwena, quoted Pastor Mahlangu to say, when a farmer was planting good seeds, at night, the enemy came and planted, tares. So what I'm trying to say here is that, yes, we have crossed, we are on the other side, but, there could be some traces of the virus, which we still have to guard against. And as I said today, I wanted us as people, that as we return back to our churches, as we return into, gathering indoor, outdoor, let's not forget to continue to take precautions, to continue to be vigilant. Because if we do that, we're going to defeat this pandemic in Jesus' name. Until next time, family, thank you for listening to me. Goodbye.